Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Can y'all hear me? We're back in Miami, baby. We're back in Miami. I'm doing this standing, so. Make sure as you join, you like and share with a friend. We appreciate that. This may be a little better. There we go. There we go. When I'm standing, the mic is a little bit out the way. But we work through it. We work through it. We work through it. Yo, please make sure that you like. And as you're joining, share with a friend. Share with a friend. Please, please, please. I need to actually, I didn't share on my gram yet. Got a lot of dope stuff for y'all today. A lot of dope stuff. Let me actually make this a little smaller. There we go. There we go. We got our boy Tony Gaskins coming back on. Tafari's going to have a field day with this one. I think I will as well. Of course, it's all in the spirit of learning, building, developing, and growing together. Yo, do me a favor. Share on one of your social medias or send to a group chat. If you really messing with us, if you really digging us, send to your group chat. Why not? Let them have the conversation live. I know a lot of people have been sending it to people afterwards, but why not join the discussion as it's actually happening? Told you I'm standing. Let me hold on. I'll wait till the music ends and I'm gonna grab my coffee. Matter of fact, let me grab it right now. Needs that at the end. I am. What y'all on? Coffee or tea right now? Coffee or tea? I'm not on anything right now until I take this sip. Oh, God. I become a coffee man. I don't know what it is. Something about the way that coffee hits. There's something about the way that coffee hits. Is my mic straight? Do I need to turn it up? I hope I don't need to turn it up anymore. What I can do is close that door if it gets a little loud. But y'all let me know. I'm sure y'all will let me know. As you can see, we're back standing. We're back standing. I like standing more. Gets the energy flowing in me. Hopefully, y'all can feel that. What a difference a week makes, right? Last Friday was a little intense. Oh, man. But, yo, like I said, we got a great show today. We got a lot of topics. Well, I'm putting it out there that it's a great show. I also definitely want to highlight. So hold on. Let me go to my group text message with my mom and the fam. So yesterday was the third night of Kwanzaa, Ujima, which stands for Collective Work and Responsibility, to build and maintain our community together and to make our community's problems our problems and solve them together. And I'm going to wait, actually, until there's a few more people. I'm going to wait till we move on, and I'm going to tell y'all a little bit about Kwanzaa. I guess I should have shared a video about Kwanzaa, but I'll just give y'all my insight on Kwanzaa. I was raised on it. Hated doing it when I was younger. Well, I'm not even going to say I hated doing it when I was younger. It's just it's just different. I had to reach a certain level of maturity, because when you're young, Kwanzaa always starts December 26th, the day after Christmas. And because I grew up celebrating Christmas, still celebrate Christmas with the fam and whatnot. It's kind of like there's no gifts to be in exchange, but maybe that's something that we should change. Maybe it's something that we should incorporate into every day of Kwanzaa. Maybe there's, even if it's not, like, I'm not big on the gift exchanges, but maybe something that small that can be exchanged. That's a symbol of something. I don't know, something like beads. I'm big on like these now. You know, these are my protectors, my crystals, beads, I'm learning about them. So bear with me. But like I said, what do we have today? Does it not want to show up on my computer right now? Hold up. And of course, you know, as always, we shall start off with what? Positive message from Big Bro. So hold on, let me make sure my notes are pulling up first. And they are. And and there's an interesting take that I had, and I think it's in one of the videos. But I'm not even sure if I selected this video to be shown. So I'm not sure if it's going to be one of the videos. Actually, this isn't updated. There we go. I'm not sure if it's one of the videos that will show, but it's about the relationship between a father and a son, and a father's actual role in his son's life. And it may be something that y'all take something from, maybe not, but I thought it was pretty interesting. So I'll at least share with y'all my takeaways from it, even if I don't have the actual post. But let's get into it right now with a positive message from Big Bro. One sec, let me get that shared for y'all. And it's Friday, yo. It's Friday. And like I said, I'm in Miami. I'm in a good mood, even though it's a little chilly out here. What's the weather? Every day I forget to give y'all the weather. All right, so the weather where I'm at, I can't even brag. It's 63. It's going up to 69. Nothing too crazy. Hackensack is 46 right now, going up to 53. You know, it'd be different if it was going to hit 80s or something here, but it is what it is. But let's get this positive message from Big Bro. Big Bro, talk to us.
Shout out everybody I'm shouting out. Positive message for today is to trust your gut. When you get that gut feeling about something, believe in yourself enough to trust your gut. Peace.
Short and sweet.
Shout out everybody I'm shouting out. Positive message for today is to trust your gut. When you get that gut feeling about something, believe in yourself enough to trust your gut. Peace.
All right, so something short, sweet, but I think it's something that a lot of us don't fully take advantage of, or perhaps even know how to fully take advantage of or to recognize. But the more I learn about these chakras, the more I'm learning about like the spirituality with Paula Herlock, the more I watch these videos, even with Billy Carson, if he's talking about the Anunnakis with the aliens that brought us here, all these different things, it brings me back to a space that we know. Well, I don't know if we know. For me, we're spiritually connected. So everything being spiritually connected, and my fault, I didn't have the chat pulled up. Hi, Sharon. Good morning. Good morning and Grand Rising. Good morning, Big Bro, Grand Rising. Shoot, my bad. I didn't even have the chat pulled up. But like I was saying, the more I realize that we are spiritually connected, the more I realize that a lot of the feelings that we have, whether it's something like using our third eye or if it's our gut, all of these different feelings are there for a reason. We've all walked in certain rooms where you can just tell just as soon as you get in the room, whether it's a good energy, whether it's a bad energy. You can meet somebody and know from the jump, like, this person has amazing energy. And also on the other side of that, you can see somebody or meet somebody for the first time and know, like, something I'm not really feeling. We have to use that. All those are tools and skills. These are our antennas. A lot of people believe that these are our antennas. So if you don't have any hair, I don't know. Maybe the Baldy operates as an antenna as well. What's up, big bro? Shout out to Doug in the building. And Doug reminded me actually in the last text that the gentleman that I was referring to in his program that he was having was Josh Tapp. So, and I want to actually get onto that in about 30 seconds, Doug. But yeah, so knowing that we're spiritually connected, knowing that we operate on energy, and I have a dope video for y'all to show y'all that proves that energy is real. Hopefully it'll prove it for y'all, but it proved it for me. Not that I needed it to be proved, but it is what it is. I already believed in it, but it just kind of goes to show you. But trust in your gut, trust in your instincts. These are some of the most sacred and useful tools that we have. So we have to use them to our advantage. It's going to help prepare us for certain situations that we're going in. It's going to give us the heads up. And it's also going to be, it should be almost used as a filter. Well, it should be used as a filter. That's what's going to be able to filter through the people and the situations that are positive for us to keep walking towards, or the situations that, even if they are shiny, look like a positive situation, maybe the ones that we want to avoid. So shout out to Big Bro Ace for that. What are we starting with? All right, let me get this off the screen for a sec. All right, so I wanted to go back to Doug. Now, Doug's program, like I said, it was a guy named Josh Tapp. And I told y'all, he gave me the whole breakdown about, how you have to have a $50,000 program. You have to have a $50,000 program that you're selling, and that you can deliver on a particular value that matches with that 50,000. So for me, it brought us back to the conversation that we were even touching on yesterday, like last show on Wednesday with Tafari and Ant. We were talking about value and all this other. We're having a good conversation about it. And shout out to Tafari. Tafari and I were on the phone like 2 hours that day. But so going back to Josh Tapp and this $50,000 product that I believe that I think that if you sell something, even if you don't sell something, I think it's a great thing to do, even if you just use it as an exercise, because I think it's going to add value to a lot of the things that you're doing in your life currently. Grand Rising Shy, good to see you. But I think it's going to enhance what you're doing no matter what you're doing. And it's going to show you, y'all know I'm big on sales, but it'll show you how to improve how to sell yourself. We're all selling ourselves, whether we have a job or whether we're actually in the sales industry with a particular product. But what I wanted to focus on with this $50,000 product was, now I lost my train of thought. What did I want to focus on with the $50,000 product? Hold up. Damn, you know how you have something and it's right there. Oh, all right, boom. Is the fact that we take for granted that a lot of people that are successful now have always been successful and have always had, or your definition, how society may define successful, just having some money, right? So a lot of people with money, let's not say successful. We take for granted that a lot of people with money are successful. We just assume that. Now that maybe that's your definition of success, maybe it's not. I'm going to say that it's not my definition of success. It probably used to be in certain ways and still is. It does factor into it. But being in the healthcare industry, working with a lot of doctors, attorneys, there's a lot of money in healthcare. And I realized that how these people determine success, they're a little bit behind me. Not behind me in success, but I mean, that's not what I'm saying. But a lot of these people have been neglected their entire lives, have felt like nerds their entire lives. Nothing wrong with nerds, but I'm just saying, like, they felt insecure their entire lives. And you meet some of the most surface level successful people that are miserable. Now, I'm not going on this rant to say like money doesn't bring happiness. Money brings happiness. I don't know what y'all talking about. Money brings happiness, but there's just other things that should come along with it. But what I'm more so focused on is a lot of these people, when I was breaking down, what my $50,000 product is, it's a package for people that are in their 50s, 40s, 60s that have a lot of money, but still know that they are lame as shit. And there's nothing wrong with acknowledging that. A lot of ways, the only way to kind of get to that next point is to acknowledge it. That's like anything. And when I say lame, what I mean is that it's fake confidence that they're expressing to the world. It's fake confidence. And that's what puts a lot of these people in these situations. Like, we always talk about the athletes acting crazy when they get money. It's only because they have a spotlight. Especially you see it during these holiday parties where a lot of these doctors, a lot of these attorneys, they are willing to risk everything just to hang out with a pretty girl that they thought that they never could get when they were in middle school or high school or in college, because nobody looked at them. And they always said, like, wait until I make some money and I'm going to get, they got fat, like whatever it may be, whatever the situation may be. I'm not even talking about from a cheating standpoint. I'm just talking about willing to put yourself in a position that risk everything just because you are trying so hard to be cool. And this goes to the point of the video that I'm going to play later, which is, overall, I think we have to do a better job of filtering information and what we accept as truth and what we accept as, this is what I'm going with. This person said it, so this is what I'm believing in. And I know I'm going on a little bit of a tangent, so bear with me. But a lot of times, how we identify success is going to point us in the direction of who we follow. How we identify success. Money is important. I'm not saying that. But for a lot of these individuals, when you get into an industry like this that I'm in, you can get caught up in following the follower. Now, what do I mean? I've never been a follower in my life. Anybody that's known me can attest to that. I've just never been it. Never been a follower. Always did. What's that song? I just always did my own thing. Drake. Shout out to Drake. I always did my own thing. Always. It was important to the point where it's not always the best thing. Sometimes you need to follow. Sometimes you need to follow. But I've just always been the type that it's like that Max B video that everybody says, yo, them cats up the block going that way, I'm going this way. They doing this thing, I'm doing that thing. And I'll show the video. Matter of fact, hold up. Now I got to show the video. Y'all bear with me, yo. Yo, this is what y'all come here for. Stop playing. Come on. Max B interview. I gotta play the whole. Oh man. There you go. I do the other thing. Hold on. I gotta show you how this. All right, hold on. I found it. Shout out to Max. Max about to come home. Free Max, free to Wade. Hold on. All right, hold on. Let me get this going. All right, is it up for y'all? All right, yeah. So this is I'm going on a tangent. Take a ride with me.
Everything y'all niggas do, I don't do. I do the other thing. Everything y'all niggas go across the street that way, I'm going up. Holla at your boy. I do other things, man. I don't do what y'all niggas do. I don't do what niggas do. I don't watch niggas' money. I don't care. I just do what I do. That shit.
In this society, now obviously you could take that video as not being like a serious video. Society, that is essential. And what do I mean? So when I say, like, I always, even from this instance, I'm on the plane yesterday and I'm like, yo, I've always wanted to get I thought about getting like an OG tattoo. I always thought about getting my nose pierced. I always liked the nose piercings, but I don't have any tattoos, never had a piercing. And it's to the point where I'd be lying if I said that one of the strongest reasons that I don't get them now is because everybody else got them. You feel me? Like, yeah, I could get like a unique one, that's different than everybody's, but everybody got them. So I'm like, nah, I feel so much cooler without it because all y'all did that. Now I'm doing this. The whole point of the tattoos in the beginning was because nobody was getting them, to make you more unique. But now for me, I'm like, yo, I feel more unique without them. You know what I'm saying? Like, how many cats you see with the locks, play ball, no tats, no hair? That's just an example. Back to the point. how we define success is going to determine who we follow. And I'm circling this back to my man Josh Tapp with Doug about my $50,000 product. I realized that my $50,000 product, just give me 30 more seconds on this. My $50,000 product is going to be working with a lot of these individuals in their 40s, 50s, and 60s who have a lot of money but still feel very small. The people that may act and show like they're doing big, you know, they're moving big, but still every time they walk into a room, they don't feel confident, they feel insecure. They're trying to make up for lost time in high school and middle school when they used to get picked on, or just not even got picked on, but just weren't the guy. That's my $50,000 product, because one thing I know about me is I'm going to have the same energy whether I'm broke, down and out. Well, I don't even feel like I could ever be down and out. I would just look at it as an opportunity where it's like, yo, thank you for this, because you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to come up out that valley to make the movie. Nobody likes a movie with somebody just like, you know, moving consistent like this. They make movies about people that take dives, go up, and roller coaster rides. So I would just look at it like that. But that's going to be my $50,000 offering. And it's just based on, and that like was a roundabout story, which I wanted to tell y'all about the offering. Tell a friend to tell a friend, but more so to determine that a lot of these people with money, a lot of these people that are doing exactly what I'm doing, don't just listen to people. Do your own research. Process things. Don't be a fan of your favorite YouTuber. Don't be a fan of your favorite celebrity. Don't be a fan of that person on the job that just makes more money than you and they got a nicer job, but you don't really know how their life is. You don't know how their principles, their morals, their values are, but therefore you're just following just based on how society determines success, which is largely built on material success. A lot of that is how we've become so distracted. When we look around in society and we're wondering like, yo, how did we get here? Like certain things, I literally just wonder, how did we get here? Somebody just sent me a video of some state signing in a law that transgender athletes can't compete against women, like boys can't compete against girls. It's like we got to sign a law for this. Like, it's really like when you look around at society, I really sit here and say like, yo, how did we get here? And how we got here is because for the majority of us, we've played the role of the sheep and we've just followed the herder. All they have to do is dangle a carrot in front of our face, tell us why this is success, tell us why this looks good, and we follow it blindly. And it puts us in a lot of these compromising positions to then we look at society and we wonder, like, how did we even get here? Like, think about it. So my fault to go on that tangent. Sorry, I'm not sorry, but that's where I was feeling at the time. So y'all know what we do on Hot Topic Friday. We're just going to go through a bunch of stuff. I don't even know where to start. I'll be totally honest. I don't know where to start, but I know that I do want to finish up on this Tony Gaskins video. But let's start with D1. So D1 is a guy. Do I want to start with D1? Matter of fact, nah, we're not even going to start with D1. We're going to start with this video that Tafari sent me. So I want to get y'all thoughts on this. So I thought that this was a amazing video. Y'all tell me what y'all think. I'm just going to play it through and then we'll talk about it a little bit. Hold on, we got a message. I want to make sure. So somebody, so it's a LinkedIn private user. I'm not sure who sent it, but somebody wrote, I feel that all the time. How did we get here? And yo, I didn't, as I'm reading your comment, it hits to me even more. How did we get here? And then it just makes sense. Who brought us here? And how did we allow ourselves to walk here freely? Like, how did we race here? Like, I literally wonder, like, yo, how did we get here? Like, how did we arrive in this place where the dumbest stuff is promoted? We have the goofiest cultures. Like America overall, I used to just think, I'm being honest, I used to just think it was like the black culture. No, American culture overall is some of the goofiest shit I've ever seen. And obviously I haven't been here that long, but like when I look back and the problems that other people, maybe because we don't have real problems. So it's like when you don't have real problems, it's like you move in a way that ends up creating the goofiest problems. Like growing up, I remember reading books on our history about the people and the things that they were fighting for, you know, like whether or not you believe in it, you know, civil rights, whatever. Like y'all know how I kind of feel about that, whatever. Civil rights, fighting to get out of slavery, fighting for independence from Britain, like all these different things that I look back at what people were fighting for their land. You know what I'm saying? I know that's going on now, but look at a lot of the goofy battles that we face. Like, look at the, like, I'm telling you, when I saw that senator or whoever signing in, like, oh my God, we finally signed that law that boys can't play girls sports. It's like, how did we get to the point where we even had to vote on this? Like, it's literally that type of stuff. And I don't know. But we have to hold ourselves accountable because we're the dumbasses that walked here. Yeah, we may not have been the ones that led us here, but come on, man. This is crazy. First world problems. I agree. Tafari wrote, because humans very much love easy and we will give up on real happiness just to have easy. Oh, I like that. I like that. I like that. Like true happiness. I get what you're saying. Because true happiness, and correct me if I'm wrong, Tafari, true happiness comes from, I don't want to use the word righteous, but sacrificing and working hard for something rather than things that just come easy. And I think that that's a great segue. And Ant's not on here, so we ain't got to say Paul. That's a great segue for us to get into this video. So think about what Tafari wrote. He said, because humans very much love easy. We love easy. That will give up on true real happiness just to have easy. So let's get into this video. Perfect. I appreciate that, Far. You know what video I'm playing.
A mouse at the top of a jar filled. A mouse was put at the top of a jar filled with grains. He was so happy to find so much food around him that he no longer felt the need to run around searching for food, and now he could happily live his life. After a few days of enjoying the grains, he reached the bottom of the jar. Suddenly, he realized that he was trapped and he couldn't get out. He now has to fully depend on someone to put grains in a jar for him to survive. He also may not get the grain of his choice, and he cannot choose either. He now has no choice but to eat what he's given. A few lessons to learn from this. 1. Short-term pleasures can lead to long-term traps. 2. If things come easy and you get comfortable, you are getting trapped into dependency. 3. When you are not using your skills, you will lose more than your skills. You lose your choices and freedom. 4. Freedom does not come easy but can be lost quickly. 5. Nothing comes easily in life, and if it comes easily, maybe it is not worth it. Don't curse your struggles. They are your blessings in disguise.
All right, so real quick, let me get off the screen for a sec, then I'm gonna bring it back. I want y'all to watch that video again, because as I watch that video, all I do is see our society. Whether it's participation trophies for kids, whether it's DE&I and people not getting positions based on merit, to where you have a school that you can, based on your race, you can get a lower or higher SAT score. What else? Feminism. That's the one that Tafari brought up. Feminism. All these different things, whether it's the social programs, welfare, all these different things. Think about all the things that are given to us. Think about all the things that are given to us. And I want us to focus on those. DE&I, feminism, What else did I say? The welfare programs, social programs. What was the first one that I mentioned? And the participation trophies. Now look back at this video. And before you look back at this video, we have to be very careful. It's almost like, remember when you're a young kid and they used to have, I don't even know if they still do this, but they used to tell kids to be careful of who you take candy from. Be careful of who you don't take candy from strangers, right? It's that simple concept that we've lost sight of. Now, it's so easy for a kid. Now, why would they give you candy? Were they giving, shout out to Tafari, were they giving vegetables? Were they giving you broccoli? Did your parents ever say, don't take broccoli from strangers? Don't take asparagus from strangers? Did they ever say that? No, because it doesn't taste good. It's not anything that's going to bring you in. It's actually going to be something like broccoli, like, nah, I'm good, right? Think about it. As kids, that's what we're going to say. As adults, a lot of us will say that. But if you have a lollipop and some candy, then it's going to be able to entice people more. But then we have to ask ourselves, why do I need to be enticed by something that's already giving me a certain benefit? Why should I need to be enticed? And it goes back to that little kid logic. But now we don't apply it to ourselves. Everything that is given to us, we become such a soft society that lives in this victimhood, that wants things, that we all feel entitled. Let me not even say soft, whatever. I think it's soft, whatever. But the main thing is entitled. We've become such an entitled society to where we actually think that we deserve certain things based on doing absolutely nothing. Why? Because they've been giving us these certain things. So now we get caught up in a space where they give us participation trophies. And now we start to deserve that. We think everybody should be rewarded. Feminism, they give us all this stuff for free. And we got a bunch of different videos on that. Oh, well, as long as you don't have a husband, you can live in this house, this apartment, and we'll give it to you for absolutely nothing. Oh, if you don't have a husband, matter of fact, we'll take care of it. We're gonna focus on that more as well. DE&I. Oh, well, because of things that happened over the last 500 years, we know that we can't expect you all to compete at the same level as everybody else. Y'all can't compete grade wise with the Asian kids and the white kids. Why? Because y'all don't have dads in the house. And we know that nobody makes y'all do homework, that y'all just go home and y'all play basketball and maybe even sell a little drugs on the side, all these different things, right? So they just continue to give us stuff to the point where we become entitled. And then we don't ever sit back and realize, why are these people giving us these things? They're clearly trying to manipulate and control us in a certain type of way that's for their benefit. But the same way that little stranger that wants to kidnap a kid, he's using something favorable in order to entice the child to do something that is in the grown-ups, the kidnapper's best interest, not the child's, obviously. But how can we teach this concept to children and not understand this as adults, that it impacts us in the same way, negatively, detrimentally? And hold on, let me catch up with the comments. So Tafari wrote, LOL, I didn't even know that's the one you playing. That hit different because it's so us. That's a play on words with us and US. Oh, I like that. I like that, big bro. I like that. But let's watch the video again and think about the things that we just discussed, because for me, when I watched it twice, it just hit a little bit different, because I'm like, yo, this is the exact thing. You do all these things are given for free to distract us. But then we get to a certain position to where it's like, not only do I feel I deserve it, but now I actually, because I've been getting it so free, I didn't ever develop the tools and the skills to go out and get it on my own because they just gave it to me. Now I'm actually dependent on people to the point where they've crippled me. I've allowed myself, I'm not gonna say they crippled me. I've allowed myself to become crippled to the point where I can't even help myself. So let's take a look at it again.
Mouse was put atop of a jar filled with grains. He was so happy to find so much food around him that he no longer felt the need to run around searching for food, and now he could happily live his life. After a few days of enjoying the grains, he reached the bottom of the jar. Suddenly, he realized that he was trapped and he couldn't get out. He now has to fully depend on someone to put grains in the jar for him to survive. He also may not get the grain of his choice, and he cannot choose either. He now has no choice but to eat what he's given. A few lessons to learn from this. 1. Short-term pleasures can lead to long-term traps. 2. If things come easy and you get comfortable, you are getting trapped into dependency. 3. When you are not using your skills, you will lose more than your skills. You lose your choices and freedom.
Dependency.
4. Freedom does not come easy but can be lost quickly. 5. Nothing comes easily in life, and if it comes easily, maybe it is not worth it. Don't curse your struggles. They are your blessings in disguise. A mouse was put at the top of a
All
jar
right.
filled with grains.
All right, so we good on this one. Hold on. Let me hide the screen. What did Big Bro write? So Big Bro wrote, "Feminine shows just how dumb most." One day they gonna clip up me repeating Tafari, and they gonna bash me like crazy. Feminism shows how dumb most women are. Give up on trying to get a family so you can work as hard as a man and suffer the same BS while still having to be a woman. Stupid. Suffer with us. I agree. Moving on. I mean, it is what it is, right? Y'all got caught up. Trust me, there's a lot of things that men have gotten caught up on the same dumb stuff. But feminism, I gotta agree with Tafari on that one. And why I agree with Tafari on them, I can sit here and say that if we were just talking specifically the Black community, which we're not, especially not when we're talking about feminism, we're talking about America overall. But if we were just talking specifically the Black community, you would be able to say more so that, oh, well, because fatherlessness, women had to go out and do all the yeah, okay, all right, you'd have a little bit more to stand on. But let's not act like this is just a Black issue. This is across the board. A lot of these feminists are the women, and I'm not even gonna say a lot of the whole feminist stuff is fake. And we saw that with the election, and I'm gonna tell you why. A lot of that feminist stuff was fake. We saw it with Trump. When Trump won, it was all these feminists coming out here saying, oh, this and that. They did their little pink pussy rally the day after I think Trump got in office, or the day before or whatever. But then when they looked at actually how most of these women voted, they voted with their husbands. Whatever their husbands did, that's what they did. So a lot of the feminism is fake, and they use that to talk a whole bunch of shit, but then to go back home into the beautiful home that, and a lot of times it just is what it is, their husband contributed the majority of money to. It is what it is. Now, I'm not saying that they didn't contribute in other ways that are just as important, or perhaps even in some ways more important than money. Not saying that. But a lot of these women that were pushing this feminist agenda, they push it from a space where it's not even genuine, and they encourage a lot of other women from different cultures that do not have the privilege that they can always go back to. And they got y'all. They manipulated, bamboozled, all that. So I can't say that that's not, like, it just doesn't make sense to me. Like, it doesn't make sense. And there's another video that's going to show, I think either Tafari or Ant sent it to me, but it shows like what it is to be a man. I don't know. I feel so privileged to be born as a man, to be able to take on this responsibility. But let's be very clear. Yo, ladies, you should feel very privileged to be born as ladies as well, because I don't think a lot of y'all want these type of problems. You feel me? I think that we're built different. I think men and women are different. We're built to take on certain challenges that women are not built for, and vice versa. Women are built to take on certain challenges physically, emotionally, mentally, all these different things. I'm talking across the board for both that men are not built for. So it is what it is. Safari wrote, difference is men are better built to carry mental and physical baggage. Women aren't able to carry it the same, and they suffer. They're pushing their own suffering. Feminism definitely pushes female suffering. I believe so, but I may be wrong. All right, next video. What did I say that we're going to get into? All right. So I wanted to talk about this video. Hold on. It talks about years that we have left. I hope my dad is listening, but I also hope that he's not listening at the same time. And I'm going to explain why. Let me see this video. All right, so boom. Let's make sure that the screen is shared. I'll explain why. All right, let's go.
How old are you now?
I'm 57.
If you were to go back in time and have a conversation with your 20-year-old self, what is the best advice that you would tell to your younger self?
You got a moment?
Yes, sir.
Let me show you something, all right? See this strip here? This strip here is from 1 to 100. You hear me?
Yes, sir.
Now, the average female lives age 81. Average male age 75. So I'm gonna put my finger here on 75, and I'm going to tear it. I will probably never see this part of life. If I do, it'd be a blessing. If I don't, I'm not gonna be as hammer.
I didn't want to stop it, but all right, I'm not going to.
I can't dunk a basketball then. Give me the same quality of life. All right? Now, I look real young. You may think I'm about 25. I'm really I'm 57. So put my thumb here on 57, and I'm
Oh,
retired.
really?
I'll never see this part of life again. So this part of the ribbon here is all I got left. And maybe your ribbon is a little longer, but you can have one bad sickness, and the quality of the ribbon ain't the same. What you got left is what you got left. Live each day as a life in miniature. Live it on steroids and wake up with gratitude. Thank God I got today is a vote of God saying this is for you. Live it like you dream it.
How old are you now?
I'm 50.
All right, so why did I say that? I hope my dad's listening, but I'm also nervous that he's listening. Because my dad's 75. So based on the averages, I don't believe in that type of stuff. I don't believe in that type of stuff. But one thing that my dad says, and I hope he's listening to this part, we always have like a running joke. Matter of fact, there was a running joke where my dad told me that, hopefully this is cool, Dad. But he told me that one of his friends, when he was younger, his friend told him, like, yo, your dad complains a lot. Every time I speak to him and ask him how he's doing, it's always depressing or something. I'm paraphrasing a little bit. And I get it. Life, and I especially with men, and I think it's different with women. Life has different ways, and I think it's now working towards what I'm going to say a little bit differently towards the men now, but especially previous generations, life has broken and has really put a lot of scars on a lot of our men. Had to suffer to go through a lot. I can't give proper due to how much I believe that life has taken a toll on a lot of our men from previous generations, to the point where life can break anybody, but life in a lot of ways, in my opinion, was a lot harder. It may have been simpler back then, but they had a harder, like, more things to bear. It just is what it is. Now, we can make that argument here nor there about it being harder now. I get all that stuff, whatever. When it does that, when we start to tell ourselves that we feel old, or somebody ask us how we're feeling, and we start to say, like, oh, well, this is sore. Well, you know, I've been kind of dealing with this. Just don't say it. Our brains control our bodies, not our bodies controlling our brain. So if we wake up and say, like, oh my God, I'm so glad that I'm healthy, literally our brain is going to program our body to become healthy. Like, that's just, it's been scientifically proven. Like, it's been scientifically proven. Positive outlooks heal bodies. Like, it just is what it is. If you truly believe and embrace, that's why I always tell y'all about my big bro Jim Dory. He says before he puts his feet on the ground in the morning, he always makes sure that he smiles, because his smile is his way of showing gratitude and appreciation for the amazing life, the amazing opportunities, the amazing health that he has. So why I nervous when people start saying this, well, the average this, the average that. Yo, you can change yourself. You can remove yourself from that quote unquote average category just by shifting the mindset. Just by saying, well, I'm not getting old. I'm not this, I'm not that. A lot of people, especially women, try to protect their age and not tell people that. Maybe that's a good thing. I don't know. Maybe it's a good thing. But if you're protecting it because you're insecure about it, maybe that's a bad thing. But if you're just convincing yourself, nah, I'm still 40, then that's a positive thing. Or if you acknowledge however old you are and I'm young. I'm 70 years young. Mom's just turned 70. Y'all know that. She didn't hide it, but her mindset is I'm still young. And I think, like I said, it's a little bit different for men and women, because I think that life just takes more of a toll on men. So I can understand why a lot of our older men, and maybe this is something that we all can do for the uncles, the fathers, the grandparents in our life, remind them to speak positivity, especially when it comes to their health, I'm not trying to hear all this average stuff, whatever, because it's so easy. Average is so subpar right now in the society that we live in. So it's so easy to remove ourselves from that average standpoint. Like, I can't look at my dad, and my dad doing pull-ups, push-ups, all that. So, and another reason why I wanted to show this video is because after last week, I told y'all that, I spoke to my dad. I challenged him and his friends. Y'all are a little bit nervous about me coming out and saying all this stuff. So, okay, so why don't y'all don't got nothing to fear. Y'all don't have anything that y'all risk losing. Y'all got y'all steady income. Y'all retired. Y'all get out on the forefront. And now that excitement from him actually taking that responsibility and saying, you know what, we will do something. He gathered together a list of his friends that he thinks would be able to come together and really push certain issues that we discuss on here, and be able to just be involved in a lot of these convos because it's needed. Mentor a lot of these children. We talk about fatherlessness. Okay, but we got a whole bunch of older men that, if they felt like doing so, could volunteer their time, effort, energy, and really apply it to something that our communities need. So this video is amazing. However, I didn't like what he said as far as I'll never see the end of this. Yo, I'm going till I'm 200. I don't know what y'all talking about. I'm going till I'm 200. It just is what it is. Like, that's my mindset. If I what is it? Aim for the moon or shoot for the stars, and you end up whatever. That's the mindset that I'm on. So just maybe we can all do a better job of encouraging a lot of the older men in our lives, the elders, to adjust their mindset. Because as soon as you start, we all have seen it. As soon as a person gives up mentally, they die. As soon as a person stops pushing themselves, stops feeling like they can demand more of their bodies, more of their mental, they start to rot. Like, you can physically see it. So our brain is leading our body, not the other way around. So if you want to be healthy, start speaking health into your mindset. And when you start speaking these things, then your actions are going to follow, not the other way around. All right. So just something to think about. And Tafari wrote, let's also be clear. I absolutely love women. I'm just sick of all these manly females. I want women that I'm okay with giving my life for, not some chick I got to fight. Tafari, why are you attracting all these women? That's the one thing I'm going to say. And you know what I don't want? I don't want, and I don't think that Tafari's getting here, but my one thing with you, big bro, would be, we talk about, what's funny? Tafari sent me a message, and I don't have the exact message on it, but it was similar to what my hold on, let me go to the message. It was similar to what my parents Felder, my dad and my mom, like just like that, like, yo, you were a little intense in that that video on Friday. Hold on, let me because I want to make a point. Because I didn't even respond to this message that Tafari said. But he said, hope you're feeling less angry, homie. This was last week, I believe he said, after that show. And bro, for me, it's like, I think a lot of times, maybe because we're just so used to people responding super emotionally, maybe that is what y'all received on Friday. But for me, it wasn't like how we look. And of course, angry is a huge spectrum of how, you know, people are on that angry spectrum. But if it does come across a certain type of way, and if big bro, if you are hoping that I'm feeling less angry, then I'm going to challenge you to sound less angry. You want to know why? Because I don't want you, when you say these things, you know, if women are, let me ask you this, if women are everything that you're saying and have been and are, you know, a lot of them move like dummies and all this stuff. I know that you love women. I'm not saying that. But if they are, then some of the language that you use may throw off the message, the great messages that you have, because it comes across as like, damn, who hurt this brother? You feel me? So that's the only thing. And I'm not saying that that's you, but that's the only thing that I'm challenging you in real time. Because if I came across as angry on Friday, then it may be coming across angry on here. And I know that that's not the ultimate goal that you're looking for, but you respond accordingly. You let me know. All right, let's get to it. Boom, boom, boom. What's the next video? Where do we want to go with this? All right, so I got a funny, let's actually get right to, let's get to the nitty gritty. All right, oh, this is the video that I wanted to show y'all. All right, so perfect. This when it talks about being a man, I think this is a good one.
Let me say something to men, husbands primarily. If you feel like you're carrying weight, you're in the right position. We are the foundation. We are the foundation of the family. If it feels like you're carrying the weight of responsibility and it's tough being a man and all that kind of stuff, that means you're doing it right, because you're the foundation. Lay yourself down and let that family stand on top of you.
That's good.
You were meant to be the foundation. You were meant to lay down your life. This was meant to feel like weight. It's an honor. Like, I feel honored to bear the weight of responsibility in my family. I feel honored.
It's a gift.
It's a gift. I was born in a male body. This is my assignment. It's a gift.
Yes.
I'm not gonna complain about it. It is what it is. Let me say something to men, husbands primarily.
What y'all think about that? Shout out to D1. We're gonna get into D1's video in a sec. But shout out to D1. But when y'all think about that video, that's what I mean as far as, yo, we're not the same. We're not built the same for a reason. If, like, why would we want to be the same? If we were the same, then there would be no benefit in embracing somebody else. Like, marriage is the truest, or relationships, men and women. Let me just say men and women are the best example of how DE&I, diversity, equity, and inclusion, should be presented. Let me say that again. The dynamics between men and women are the best example of how DE&I should work, in my opinion. Why? Because it's not, and maybe I shouldn't just say DE&I, because as I'm thinking it through, as I'm saying it, it just shows the importance, rather than pushing DE&I were to say like, oh, you need to hire this amount of this people, based on a quota system. If you based it on a performance system, to where it's like that person's bringing a certain value to the table and we need that, rather than just to fill a quota, which I think most DE&I is. But when you look at men and women is because we bring two different things to the table. If I want a man for this particular, if I want a plumber, then I don't need to go get a mechanic, a car mechanic, or a doctor. I need a plumber. You know what I'm saying? They're going to do that. And then it's like we have two different things that we bring to the table. So therefore, by us embracing our masculinity and y'all embracing your femininity, it just goes to show how that yin and yang comes together to where you have two people delivering on two polar opposite things, but that still come together and now are able to have the highest level of success by doing so. Now back to this person's video, and Tafari wrote the salute. I knew you would embrace that video because it's like it's the same reason why I embrace it, because when we realize and just accept, like, yo, this is what it is. This is the assignment of being a man. And this is why even in my life, we all need to do better. And I'm not even going to say we need to do better of celebrating, because I don't want it to make it seem like it's a participation trophy, but I think we need to do a better job of appreciating men more and appreciating certain men in our lives more, because men are not given the hugs unless it's your dog. You're not given. It's like for a man can go above and beyond their assignment, their role, their duty, what they bring to the table, all these things. And what did we talk about earlier? The family, whether that's the wife, the kids, whoever, the people in their lives, will start to feel like they'll appreciate it at first, but then start to feel this sense of entitlement to, oh, well, that's what you're supposed to do. Bro, I'm going above and beyond. You don't see the family next door. They ain't living like this. They ain't got the kids in your class. They not. So, but our brains don't work that way, or they haven't worked that way based on society. Men are just simply not appreciated. And that's why I said there's a difference between celebrated and appreciated. Women are highly celebrated. I don't know if men need to be celebrated, but we damn for sure need to be appreciated. Women in this society, now compare it, like I said, men can go above and beyond the call of duty and not even get any acknowledgement. Women can be average, subpar. It is what it is. And I'm not saying that all women are average, subpar, but we just live in a society to where it's always bigger to celebrate women. Valentine's Day, well, get your lady this. It ain't no get your fella, bro. Get me some shit. I've been getting you shit all year. Get me something. You know what I'm saying? And we just don't live in that type of world. Mother's Day is always going to be way bigger than Father's Day. It just is what it is. And think about it. We live in a society where fatherlessness is the issue, right? So it's almost as if now if you have a good father in the household, shouldn't that be above and beyond as far as acknowledgement and appreciation? But it just doesn't work like that. And I'm not saying that it should be celebratory, because I think we require two different things. Back to what the video Wednesday was talking about. We want respect, appreciation. Women may need more celebratory things and love, those type of things. I get it. But what I'm saying is, and this is just for me personally, this is why I kind of look at like, damn, let me just kind of, let me make sure I'm appreciating my dad, especially the more that you move through society and you realize like, yo, it's tough. It is what it is. Now, I'm not saying you don't embrace it. Yo, that's the assignment. That's what you deliver on. My coach used to always say, where more is required, where more is required, more is expected. Just is what it is. If more is required, then I expect more out of you. It just is what it is. That's the place that we're in. That's what that's the burden of a leader. But we also have to acknowledge what this brother is saying, like, yo, that's such an honor. It's an honor to take that last shot. It's not about whether you make it or not in this instance. It's the fact that your team feels comfortable putting the ball in your hands, saying like, yo, our best opportunity to win is with you. And matter of fact, I'd rather win or lose, I'm rocking with you. That's the Kobe mentality, right? That's MJ. Win or lose, yo, you deserve to take that shot, and we riding with you whether you make it or miss it. It is what it is. because you've put in the work to deserve that shot. And not only to deserve that shot, but you qualify best to put it all in your hands and to take that shot. So that's just how I'm looking at it. But it's a gift. And I'm not even going to say it's a gift and a curse. It's a gift that just comes with a whole lot of things that aren't going to feel great all the time. And I'm speaking from a person that's not even married. So I can only imagine what it's like when you are actually legally married and you have that weight and burden on your shoulders. So maybe that's just something that we all can acknowledge a little bit more, appreciate a little bit more, because like I said, it doesn't have to be celebrated, but especially if you're on a team, if I'm on a team and I know that this person, the captain of our team, the leader of our team, they got a lot more riding on them, a lot more weight on their shoulders, and I'm going to do everything in my power to put them in the best situation to where they have the right mindset and physical state to lead us in the best direction, period. So I'll leave it at that. All right, so let's move on to the next. Where do we want to go from here? Do we want to, all right, so I'm going to show 3 different videos, and then we're going to get into the Tony Gaskins video, but it may be more than that. We're going to bounce back and forth a little bit. So let's actually break it up. Let's talk about some keys to success here. One of the biggest keys to success, something that we talk about often.
Most people, the bottom 80%, are lazy, and they're looking for an easy way. They're looking for a shortcut to be successful, and there aren't any. But if you do something repeatedly over and over, you develop a habit. So most people are in the habit of looking for easy ways to get the things they want. And they're surrounded by people who think the same way. You know, as much as 95% of your thinking is determined by the people that you associate with on a regular basis.
We know that.
If you associate with people who don't work hard, don't learn, socialize after work, then you become like them. You think like them, you talk like them, you dress like them, you marry them. And so you're married to someone who also has no ambition. And you raise children, and your children have no ambition. Just go to work and complain about your work. But top people associate with other top people. So people say, well, where do I find positive people who are thinking about success all the time? First, you become one, and then you naturally attract it. Most people...
Spiritual beings, energy. Like, this stuff is so simple. When you get advice, how I know that it's real and how I know that it's true is because it's across the board. There are people that aren't even speaking from may not be speaking directly from a spiritual standpoint, but everybody says the same thing. Get out and do the work. Get out and become all those things internally. Just like Queez always says, it starts with me. The more I become these things that I aspire to be, and the more I become similar in my life, maybe not on the same scale, but similar to a lot of these other people that I look up to. That's why we got to choose who we look up to and choose how we define success, because that's going to, be going to be one of the greatest determining factors in who we decide to look up to. Once we become those things, we're naturally going to attract those opportunities that we're looking for. I don't even have a long spiel on that. Y'all should know what it is by now. We talk about this all the time. Your top 5. Show me who you're around. If you're not successful, one of the things that I would recommend is just writing down who I'm around. And then write down maybe who I need to become. Write down some of the qualities of the people that we aspire to be like, what they have, and just start working towards it. And naturally, we're going to invite those opportunities and those people in our lives. And not only will we invite those opportunities and people in our lives, but we'll be able to capitalize on them in a real way, because they'll see us as a value add in what they're already doing because we align with them. Successful people are looking for successful people to rock out with too. It's not like they're just sitting at the top saying, I don't need to meet anybody else. No, they want to meet successful people as well. People that can help. It becomes addicted, right? Obsessive, to where once you become successful, to me, one of the greatest things that one of the things that I believe that most people feel are, and it may be selfishly, but when somebody becomes really successful, we can say it's from a philanthropy standpoint. But what do they want to do? They want to now see if they can make somebody else as successful and get the credit for it. That's why I say it may be a selfish standpoint, but it is what it is. It doesn't matter. You're still doing something positive. So now they want to show just how successful they are by their ability to make somebody else successful. And a lot of times they'll pick the person that has the right mindset, the right intangibles, may not have all the tools and skills, may not come from the best upbringing, all these type of things, but they have the tools or the intangibles, and the intangibles are simple. Work hard and listen. Work hard and coachable. At Tafari, you tell me what type of person, when you're training somebody in boxing, do you care if they came in with a certain skill set? You probably would rather them come in with no skill set, start from scratch so I can build you up from this right foundation that you're going to learn here. The two things that anybody, any successful person, because they don't have time to deal with the other BS, they don't have time to convince you of why their way is the best way. What they are looking for are people that are coachable and that have a great work ethic, period. Just by having those two things, we're going to put ourselves in a position to where we're going to invite a lot of the opportunities that are going to lead us to the places that we say we want to move towards. So Tafari wrote, I hope that video is true, because if it is, I'm going to find me a great wife when the time comes. That's a great point. You attract, I mean, it's just energy, right? It's just energy. And maybe that's a good time to show this is just Tafari giving me, this is almost like we rehearsed this, because Big Bro giving me all the he giving me all the segues into the next video. So hold on, I want y'all to take a look at this one. All right, so let's look at how energy works. Let's take a look at how energy works. And what did Big Bro write? Facts. I love coachable and great work ethics over skills, bro. Give me the coachable and great work ethic. That's it. That's all you got to be. That's all you got to be. Even if you come with a blank canvas, come open. Even if you already have the skill set, come open to the point where it's like, listen, I'm willing to forget everything that I learned before. I want to receive the information that you're giving me, because clearly I'm here for a reason, right? If everything was all good over there, then I would just stay over there. But clearly I'm looking for it to develop in new ways. So therefore I have to approach it from a new canvas. Very simple. All right, let's get to this video.
I think we get a better shot. Okay, switch over to the black magic. There we are. Now look at, if I drop one of these, one comes back. If I drop two comes back. Now look at, there's only 5 of them there. You can see there's just 5 there. Let's suppose I drop 3. Will I just knock the 2? No. If I drop 3, I get 3 back. Now, if I drop 4, I get 4 back. See, that is a law. Energy out, energy back. And it's equal and opposite. You get the same back as you put out. Now, if we'll switch back to the tripod here, Joshua. The law of cause and effect. If you're not happy with what you're getting, you better focus on what you're giving. I think we get a better shot.
There you go, Far. That's it. And think about how many different ways that this applies in so many different areas. This is why impoverished areas remain in poverty. This is why a lot of affluent areas remain affluent. It's the energy that's circulating in your particular community, the energy that's circulating in your particular friend group, village, whatever you want to call it. Energy out. If you go up to somebody on the street and you slap them, what do you think is going to come back in return? Now, the good thing about that is if you go out on the street and simply smile to somebody. How many times does this happen? Try this when you're walking, today. Just when you're walking, just smile at somebody. This happens all the time with, this is one of the things, especially, it is what it is. Y'all know how to speak freely, but when I'm walking past, I have a serious issue when it comes to like a lot of the inner city Black area communities and cities, whatever. And it's even to the point where if I'm walking around like in the Bronx or some of these areas, I got my like that you walk around with that like, yo, don't play with me face. Like even in certain situations, even if you're walking down South Beach, even if I'm down in Miami, I'm with Shorty, whatever, and I'm walking and I'm approaching a crowd of, let's say, dudes, I'm adjusting my face accordingly. Like, bro, I want you to feel the energy that I'm on. Like, bro, don't try the next one. Please don't. I'm begging you, please don't try me. Please. So you put on that face just to let people know. Now, let's say that you're by yourself or whatever. And a lot of times that this may happen, you're by yourself, you're walking down the street, somebody's approaching you, you're approaching them. Just a lot of times I'll see people will have a tight face. Maybe I'll have a tight face and that person may smile and then I'll be like, yo, what's good, bro? Or I may give them this little smile, heads up, yo, what up? And you can feel you just controlled their energy. You controlled their energy. All right. It's like a lot of these pimps, bro. It is what it is. It's no different than pimping, right? It's like, yo, my energy is going to control. Now, obviously, that may be used in a bad way, but it's still the same principles. I don't know how we went from marbles to showing energy to pimping, but it just is what it is. Because once we realize that our output controls the input that we receive, it shifts our entire perspective and gives us more control. Now, some people may use it in a negative way, pimping, whatever, but other people use it in a positive way. And that's our choice, but the power is still there. What we put out determines what we receive, period. All right, so let's, what we got next? All right, so we got a couple of that said we're going to look at a couple of these ladies' videos. All right, so, do I want to get straight to it? All right, let's.
So I know a lot of you are very educated, right? So for the very educated, does this not make any sense? If you want to take over a society, you have to get rid of the strong alpha male. It's common sense, no? If you get rid of the strong alpha male, then you can control the feminine more easily. So the trick was always to act like they were empowering women by disempowering men. That was always the trick. And we fell for it. We fell for the okie doke. We need strong alpha males. And this has nothing to do with gay people. Yes, they were part of the agenda, as were we all. I love them. It's got nothing to do with them. It's got to do with the fact that that's how you control a people. If you get rid of the men. So I know a lot of you are very educated, right?
I don't even really got much to say on that one.
Does this not make any
sense? I think it's just going to set the tone for a lot of the other videos. All right, so we have that one. Then we got a video from every woman's favorite woman, Pearl. And I'm just follow me here. We're going on a little trip.
We live in a world where women are bailed out of every single bad decision we make. If we want to sleep around, there's birth control. If birth control doesn't work, there's abortion. If the girl does get pregnant and wants to keep it, she can put the dude on child support and not let him see the kids. Like a guy gets 6 days a month, maybe if he's lucky. On top of that, if that doesn't go well, they can give it up for adoption. It's like women are always bailed out of every bad decision we make. I heard here they gave you free housing if you're a single mother. What incentive do we have to make good decisions if we get free shit from the government for making bad decisions? We live in a world.
This goes back to what we were saying before, right? We just have to be very careful. This is not bashing women, and I don't think any of the women in here are going to feel that way. However, it's just the reality. It's just the reality. Take blame away from the woman, the man. Take blame away. It's just the reality. We so much of the time I feel like we're too busy blaming each other, where we get distracted from actually realizing, like, yo, there's somebody dangling this damn carrot. Like, let's acknowledge that, and let's figure out a way to work together to destroy that or to not give that energy. You get what I'm saying? So This is all, like I said, this is moving into a certain direction. All right, so the next video, this reminded me, hold on, let me see if I can find this video. And I told Tafari, we were talking about it yesterday. He sent me this video, and why did I get married? Seen Mike cheating. Hold on. Why did I get married? Who's a fan of Why Did I Get Married? Hold on. Is this the one? Damn. Why did I get married when your wife ain't giving you? Hold on. All right, so I wanted to show this video. I don't even know if it's gonna play. Shoot, I gotta find it. All right, so I'll play the other video. But in Why Did I Get Married? I don't know if y'all have seen that movie, Tyler Perry movie. I used to watch it every day. In college. There was a time where I was watching that movie every day. Like, that's how I am with movies. Like that movie, Hitch, Wedding Crashers was like that. But there's just movies that once I like them, I just continuously watch them because I just like the feeling that they gave me. So, and Why Did I Get Married? Mike, the character, he makes the comment and he says that if your wife ain't giving you none, then it's in the rule book, whatever rule book that is, it's a law. He said it's in the Constitution that if your wife ain't giving you none, you have the right to step out and indulge with another lady. So Mike said that, not me. Let me, I'm not saying I don't agree. I'm just saying Mike said it. I'm not saying I agree or disagree. But let's get into this video. Hold on, is the screen sharing? Oh, let me share the screen. All right, because we gotta y'all will see where I'm going. Just trust the process. Damn, y'all been trusting the process with the Philadelphia 76ers. They haven't won shit. Trust my process, you feel me?
If you feel like you don't want to give it to him, guess what? Don't ask him where he's going. Don't ask him where you been. If you're not interested, cool. Let him go do his thing then. How dare you think that you just all that where, oh, I could just not give him some. Play them games with the right man. He got 5 other chicks in his phone book right now that's swinging from a shower curtain. Trust me. The most abusive thing a woman can do, in my opinion, is to sit, make that man either be in a relationship with you, marry you, and then turn around and stop giving him what you promised.
I agree.
And there's no excuse. So if you're with somebody and they not giving it up, it's not cheating if you go get it from somewhere else, period. Because you went against the agreement.
I ain't say I agree with that. I just said
that was you. I ain't signed up for this to be told no. He is then within his right to have another woman perform that duty that you didn't perform, especially if you're married. If you feel like you don't want to give it to him.
I wanted to know thoughts on this one, but in all actuality, I really just wanted to set the table for the next video that we're going to get into with Tony Gaskins, because this is obviously a video that I don't know if she's going to make a lot of sense to y'all. Wasn't the point of me putting up the video. Maybe we'll have that discussion, later on or another day, because I'm sure there's a lot to go back and forth on. But it just reminded me of, how can I get to it? All right, so this Tony Gaskins video, maybe I'll just play the video and then maybe y'all will understand exactly what I'm getting at. But does she have a point? I think that it's more so, hold on, let me make sure that I got this video up. All right, I think that it's more so an issue of what's the difference between that commitment and any other commitment, right? Because if we're expected to deliver on certain things as men and women in our relationship, if we stop doing the things, and we always see this happening, if we stop doing the things that we don't, quote unquote, feel like doing, isn't that neglecting the relationship? Isn't that neglecting, like we all talk about these vows and all this other stuff, for better, for worse, all these things. This is why I think marriage is simply a contract. No different than a work contract. If you stop doing your job, the things that you've committed to doing, in order to receive this paycheck on the job, then wouldn't you get fired? Wouldn't there be a problem? Would the job be wrong for trying to go out and find somebody else that can do your job because you decided that you're not doing it anymore? And obviously, a lot of people are going to say, well, things happen to people's bodies and all this. We're not talking about that. We're not talking about that. And let me see what Tafari said. Coming from a marriage that was like that, I agree. And yes, I checked myself first to see what I was doing wrong. And yes, I stayed in shape and did my parts in the relationship. It's unfortunate, or I don't know if it's unfortunate. And that's why I kind of wanted to just leave it open-ended rather than making the conversation strictly based on that. But I just kind of wanted to set the tone for the longer video that we're getting ready to take a look at. But I think just from a standpoint, and this goes back to the entitlement. And I wasn't going to go this route, but it is what it is. A lot of times for, I would say, women, I guess women are the one mostly that typically pressure men into marriage or leverage marriage, you know, and because that's where your security comes from. I get it. Totally understand that. That's where your security comes from, where I'm about to have your babies. I might give up work, give up my career, give up my dreams and aspirations. I need to make sure that we're married first and foremost. I understand that. I'm cool with that. However, it's like once you win something, once you're given something, a lot of times you no longer show an appreciation for it. So what ends up happening? You start to feel, oh, well, no, that's what I'm supposed to be receiving. I'm supposed to, you're supposed to do all your duties, and I don't necessarily have to do mine. But it creates that sense of entitlement to where before, we see it all the time in a lot of younger relationships, maybe, where a lot of times to get the guy, because all y'all women like the same guys. So a lot of times to get the guy that all the other women want, you know, he got a lineup, you know, he got a roster, you know what he's doing, whatever. You finally lock in that guy that was doing his thing. You've been complaining for years that he's been dealing with all these women. But then once he finally stops and just deals with you, what ends up happening? Keep it real. Now you want to start having less sex. You want to start, you're not doing as much. And it's not just about the sex, but you're not doing as much to give to the relationship because you've become lazy. Now it's like, well, I don't feel comfortable doing, you know, I'm not in the right mind space. You didn't have to be in the right mind space all them other times because you want to know why? Because that guy was saying, oh, no, you don't want to chill. It's all good. Like, I'm good tonight. I'm about to run out. But now that you got the guy, it's like, shorty, what are we doing? But let's get into this video because Tony Gaskins, like I said, I wanted to show a video that it demonstrates a different perspective than I would have thought would be ideal. But I have to take heed and listen, at least listen to process what somebody else is saying who is telling us that they're in a successful relationship. Now, once again, I have to emphasize, we have to be able to filter who we receive advice from, why they may be giving us that advice, why they may be, whatever. We have to filter all these things in. However, we still need to listen to opposing views because what ends up happening is when we just listen to people that agree with us, then we just become so hardened and narrowed down in our points that we won't even entertain a different perspective. So let's get into this video because, like I said, this is something a little bit different. It's I'm not even gonna say that I didn't understand it or appreciate it, but as far as prioritizing it, I wasn't necessarily there. But let's take a look. All right, we already queued up. All right, so we're already queued up. Let's get into it. Tafari, be prepared.
Do you feel a sexless marriage can last? The reason I'm asking you, when I hear about sexless marriages, is only done in a certain context, and they leave out so many different aspects why it's a sexless marriage.
Exactly. Yes, it can last because there are several reasons, and when we say sexless, what they really mean, well, in some marriages, it's literally sexless.
Like they don't have any sex at all.
Maybe once a year. twice a year. My wife told me she saw some ladies post that on TikTok that they've had sex twice a year. And in a healthy marriage, you might have sex 4 times a month, which would be equivalent of once a week, even 2 times a month. Because
especially when you got kids.
Take the what and lead it. Shout out to Hassan.
You have kids, you moving around, but the key is communication. So I seen this lady, she was like a sex therapist or something, and she was saying that she makes time to have sex.
And I apologize in advance. This is too long for me to just play through and not comment. I do believe that what he said, that communication is everything. And I'm going to say it now because maybe somebody, I don't know. I'm just going to say it now. What I have realized is maybe throughout watching, and this is why I said that it's so important to hear different people's perspectives, is that there's no, and Shy wrote, hell no. And this is why I'm at a point where maybe I'm being a little soft on this. Tafari may call me out on this, but I do feel like there's a certain way of doing things that will work out for the majority of people. Like if everybody just does it this way, everybody does traditional conservative values, I do think that it will benefit the majority of people. Now, there still may be a select group or 20%, 10%, 30%, whatever that percentage is, that does not want to do that. But what I'm realizing is that everybody got to figure out what works for them, and that communication is the key to all of it. But I just wanted to say that. But let me not say more. Tafari start calling me out.
Sex every day with her husband, because if she doesn't, they lose connection. But the key.
And Shosh, hold on. And Shosh, what were you saying hell no to? Let me make sure that I know what you're saying hell no to.
Is communication. So I seen this lady, she was like a sex therapist or something, and she was saying that she makes time to have sex every day with her husband, because if she doesn't, they lose connection and their marriage starts to suffer. And I'm like, that's a miserable marriage to be in, that you have to go through physical pain, because when you have a lot of sex, your body starts to hurt because you're using body parts.
Thanks.
And that's
Now, keep in mind what he said. He said he thinks that that's a miserable marriage, and he also said that there's a lot of physical pain that you go through. Keep that in mind.
just, it's not healthy, it's not smart, and science.
Now, if she's a sex therapist, that may just be what's important for her. That may be how she establishes her connection. It may be very important for her. He's not feeling it.
Scientific study shows that there are no health benefits to having more than one orgasm a week. And if that one orgasm is even healthy, it just gives you a release from your brain of oxytocin. But if you have communication, me and my wife, we talked about this, and I was like, look, we real busy, like we moving around, like we don't even get alone time until midnight, because our oldest son is in one of the toughest academic schools in the country. And so he's doing homework after soccer practice. We get home from soccer practice at 10 p.m. He's doing homework before practice and after practice. He doesn't really finish homework before midnight. And some nights he doesn't finish until 2 a.m. to maintain his 4.6 GPA, and he takes 4 AP classes, advanced placement classes, which he'll get college credit when he passes the AP test, which he's taking today and tomorrow. Well, when my wife has been up from 4:30 a.m. and then she's up till midnight, that means she's only sleeping 4.5 hours. Who feels like having real on 4 hours of sleep? If he's up till 2, she's only sleeping 2 hours. Who feels like that? So she just drinking coffee, trying to get through the day, because we are parents to busy children. She gets up because she wants to have a routine for them in the morning. So she gets up and she gets them ready and all of that, makes breakfast, and drives them to school. Me, I'm an entrepreneur. So I may stay up late so that she could go to sleep before me, so that if I'm moving around in my sleep or I start to snore, it'll wake her up, because we had a premature baby. Our first son was premature, and
Tafari, y'all not feeling?
Then she wakes up at the drop of a pen. So any noise I make in my sleep, it wakes her up. So I'll stay up later than her so she can sleep 2 or 3 hours.
They having sex with
before
somebody.
I go to sleep, and then I'll go to sleep. But while I'm up, I'm working, and I'm building business, and I'm creating plans and projects. And so the next day, if I have to get up early, I'm tired too. So by definition of the comedians and definition of the rappers and definition of the sexologists and all of that, I'm in a sexless marriage. Even though we are intimate, it's not at the rate that society tells you you should be. And guess what? We're doing better than ever. Because what I found in a healthy marriage is that sex is a plus, not a priority. And if you make sex your priority,
good luck.
Good luck. Because life will change, schedules will change, health will change, age will change.
I really wonder if their wives feel the same. I really just wonder. That's all I'm saying.
I seen a man have a stroke and his wife started cheating on him because sex was the priority, not communication, not relationship. So me and my wife, we had this talk after seeing like this viral TikTok about sex, and she said, but I don't feel like our connection is weakening when we're not, bumping and grinding all the time. I said, you know what? I feel the exact same way. I said, but I thought I was crazy because this is what all of these white females keep saying. It's mostly white females that I see pushing this sex thing.
Now, I do got to address that because at first he said it's the rappers, it's society. Now he's saying it's the white females pushing it. I'm trying to hold back my comments for as long as possible, but let me catch up with the comments real quick. Shy was talking about the no sex. Hell nah. I feel it. Tafari wrote, it's called the effing roommate, not a damn marriage. This clown needs to go back to the circus. Najah wrote, sexless marriage sounds crazy because they having sex with somebody. Tafari wrote, Beta Bob and his wife need to understand that it's his homework, not theirs. Fuck they doing. Tafari wrote, laughing my ass off, better than ever, not a priority. He's coping. That chick is drowning. All right, let me keep going because I want to say certain things, but I want to keep going. Hold up.
I don't really hear it as much from black women.
Well, we got some in the chat
who are sex therapists, sexologists. But I know from my experience that demographic of women are also far more promiscuous than the average black woman. But that narrative is going out and it's spreading like crazy to where people feel like their marriage is broken if they're not bumping and grinding every week. And not even every week, but every day or every other day. When we've had spells in our marriage to where we don't have sex for 3 weeks. It's probably even been a month before. And also what I learned is my wife, she fell in the gym one time. I don't know if she was on the Stairmaster or the treadmill doing backward stuff. She was competing. She was bodybuilding, not like the muscular one, but the bikini division. And she fell and she hit her tailbone. And when she hit her tailbone, it was a little small cut just from the friction. Well, it got infected. She had to have surgery. So she had to have surgery. She was out for 12 weeks. No sex. If sex was my priority, I would have dove into nasty stuff on the phone. I would have cheated on her. But because that wasn't a priority, we still was able to go on like nothing happened.
God, I got to chime in. It's like we're using an extreme example to prove a point, but I still wanted to hear his perspective because, like I said, I'm not married. But I don't think that this is just exclusive to marriages. I think this is relationships in general. Like marriage is just simply the certificate. We already understand it's all just a contract. So you could look at the marriage as the contract that you sign and a relationship as, the handshake agreement but you still agreeing to fulfill certain things. Obviously, they're not the same. But what I notice is, and y'all tell me if there's certain things that he's saying that don't make sense. Now, initially when he said the sex is not healthy because, you know, it could be painful, you know, you're using your body parts, bruh. Your wife was competing in one of the shows, the bikini, bro, do you know the pain on your body that those bodybuilders go through? I don't care whether it's bikini or the pain and the discipline on their body that they go through, I would say far outweighs the pain that comes from you having sex every day or every other day with your significant other. So I'm not really the pain that comes from playing sports. Should we not practice soccer every day? Because, oh, well, I may be in a little bit of pain, so let me not. And this is why I say, this is why I said before, I prefaced it with to each their own, because he was criticizing the sex therapist. If that's important for her relationship, and if that's what they agreed on, if that's what, you know, she's a sex therapist, if that's what her husband feels, that's where they show a strong connection, then why not? It's no different than any relationships. I have a connection with my dad when we play golf. That doesn't mean that I'm saying that everybody should play golf with their dad. My brother doesn't necessarily play golf because he doesn't like golf as much. You know what I mean? It just is what it is. If that's something that's important to their relationship, I'm wondering why it's a problem for him. Like if he would have just came on and more so said about his relationship, but when he starts criticizing the other relationships, to me, it feels like a contradiction a bit. Because he's talking about, yeah, you know, your body's going through pain, doing everything that you described, and your kids staying up late. Your wife having to survive on 2-4 hours of sleep, that's painful. It's a sacrifice, right? It's a mental sacrifice in order for your kid. So I don't understand why we can sacrifice in other areas and not have a pleasurable sacrifice, or, you know, whatever that may be. Even if it's like, even if you do consider that a sacrifice to where, oh, my body's going to be, whatever it may be. It just seemed a little contradictory, if that's the word, contradicting, for him to describe one as being painful, but then talk about his wife. You don't think that it was painful, all the stuff that she had to do to get her body in shape and body right for body. So I'm just a little confused, but you know, is what it is. All right. So Tafari wrote, that's why you can't let beta males speak in public. They're the reasons men today is shit and why women want to be men. It's painful for her because she don't want to have sex with him. Yeah, and that's why it just goes back to the communication standpoint for me, because the more I realize, that's why I think it's good for us to hear. I'm Tafari, I don't mind him speaking on what he believes, what may be real. The problem, I get what you're saying. A lot of women may hear this, or a lot of men may hear this, who for other reasons don't want to have sex with their significant other. Now they're going to lean into this and say, see, we don't need this. And in all actuality, it may be like in a job situation where, no, they're just not into you. They're into somebody. You get what I'm saying? But there is, I don't know if there's somebody for everybody, whatever. I don't want to say that term, but just the communication standpoint. If that's something that's not important to y'all and that works in your relationship, then cool. You know what I mean? Cool. But he's critiquing other situations, saying like, yo, it's perfectly fine every 3 weeks. You know, it seems like he's trying to justify based on what society pushes. Society does push over sexualization, but that's more from a casual sexual standpoint that it becomes a problem. I don't see an issue in relationships. Like, to me, that's a positive, I would think, especially from a male perspective, especially if you're working hard all day and you're delivering on the things that you need to deliver on. Like, he's making it seem maybe his wife's doing stuff all day. Hopefully she could take a nap or something when the kid goes to school. I don't know. But if you're delivering a certain amount of ease of life to your wife, then I don't see why that wouldn't be reciprocated later on, you know, to relax that man, to give that man what he needs. I'm a little bit, I don't know, to each their own. But like I said, I still want to hear the perspective, because there may still be things that we can take from this combo. I don't know. Maybe for some of us we won't, but there may be some things that we can still take from it, and it help us. But yeah.
Build even stronger. So true love making is not physical, it's mental. The largest sexual organ is the brain.
Now, I do agree
not
with
the
this.
vagina or the penis. The largest sexual organ.
I do agree with this in a sense where, especially for women, there is more of it's more mental. You know, you have to be in the right mental space, maybe throughout the day. But like I said, if your man's delivering and delivering ease in your life, and you know, doing those romantic things that you may like, whatever that may be for y'all, I would think at the end of the day that you would be in the right headspace to want to make love with your man or just be intimate with your man in whatever way that may be. To where as a man, you can have you think about it. You out in the world getting shitted on all day, dealing with the BS of the world that society is. That's why a lot of us would rather our women not necessarily have to work if we had a choice. Because it's like, yo, I don't want you dealing with all this stuff that I got to deal with. I'll deal with that. I'll take the burden of that. And you play this particular role that is just as important, or however, I don't even want to get into that conversation, just as important. And you handle that, but it's in the house. It may be a little bit more violent, so to say, not from an actual violent standpoint, but going out in the world, making money, all these different things. We don't necessarily may not want our wife to take that on if we don't have to. We talk about that soft life for women. Isn't that the goal of, you know, most men? Like, yeah, we want to create a comfortable environment for our women. Now, I don't think that that's good to be comfortable for men, but when it comes to creating a comfortable environment for the women, so therefore they can be their best feminine selves. I don't, whatever. Maybe, is what I'm saying even making sense? Because maybe it's not making sense. I don't know. Maybe that's why I ain't married. I don't know. Maybe what I'm saying ain't making sense, but I don't know. Let's keep going a little bit.
Is the brain.
Oh,
and
but the main point that I wanted to make is, yes, I do think that this is important to make sure that the mental is there. I do think that I don't want to take away from, and this is why, Tafari, I'm saying that it's still important to hear these messages, because even though we may not agree with certain aspects of it, I do think that he's 100% correct in this part of it.
We have to learn how to do is make love to the mind, not to the body. If we learn how to make love to the mind, making love to the body is the simplest thing you'll ever do.
For those unaware to the game that you're giving, please break down to the viewers what you mean by making love to the mind.
Making love to the mind is conversation, communication, quality time. The more you spend with a person, talking and building and expressing, that is making love. Sex is actually fulfilling lust, not making love. That's why people can have what they call casual sex. That's why people can have sex on the first night when there's no love. That's why people have sex with prostitutes and strippers and gigolos, because there's no love. Sex is physical. Love is emotional. Sex is the fulfillment, meaning completing the act. It doesn't have to be fulfilling. It might not be fulfilling in that sense of the word, but you are fulfilling an act, a physical act that is intended to reproduce. So it is a spiritual act. It is not intended solely for pleasure. It's intended to procreate the human race. And people have made that their priority, and they've become a slave to a process that is solely for reproduction, because it's not always pleasurable.
I don't think it's solely
for the man, nor is it always pleasurable for the woman. It is to reproduce. And if the mind has been made love to, then it is pleasurable. But sex in itself, in and of itself, is not pleasurable. That's why we have the R word. If a man, R word, the woman, R-A, you know the word I'm talking about, is that pleasurable? No, it's not pleasurable. Even though they are doing the very
a little
act,
extreme perhaps,
but because her mind is not in it, and she did not authorize it, she did not approve it, she did not say it was okay, it is the most humiliating experience that she has in her life. So the act of sex is not an act of pleasure. The act, what produces pleasure, is the mind, which is the largest sexual organ, being on board and saying, I want this. So what people will find out is when they truly fall in love and they have made love to the mind, when they come together with their spouse, it won't last. When they get intercourse, it won't last more than 30 seconds to 3 minutes.
Hold on. So if that's the case, and if that's true, then it's not what he was describing as this is going to be a painful experience. If it's only 30 seconds to 2 minutes, there's not as much pain on your body as your wife going to the gym for 2 hours a day or an hour a day, whatever it may be, to get in that physical shape that she needs to get into to compete and show off her body to the world, right? So it's just got to, everything he's saying as far as like what he's saying about the mind, I do think that that's very important. And I think that he's spot on. And that's something that, you know, I've learned, especially, I think it's more so when you're in a relationship, and that's what he's speaking on, the marriage, because when you're in a relationship, because all of these things that we've described, the entitlement, people getting comfortable, all these different things, there does have to be that stimulation of the mind. But some of this stuff ain't adding up.
Maybe 5 minutes before both have had a release and are satisfied. The reason why.
And see, yeah, Shy, that's what I'm saying. That's why I still think it's good to listen to this brother, because even though I may not be where he is in certain ways, that's such valuable information that I think a lot of us men can benefit from, because we, and I'm saying me, a lot of times we approach it from a standpoint of how we see it, because we don't need to have all this romanticism throughout the day or throughout the week to feel good about, you know, something that's different. But for the ladies, I do believe that that's the case. And it all goes back to, like I said, it all goes back to pimping just demonstrates this. Pimping demonstrates this. A lot of these cults and a lot of these R. Kelly type situations, they demonstrate this, but that's just the negative manipulation of the mind. There can be a positive, you could say manipulation, but it could be in a positive way, because you're simply, like he said, making love to their mind and opening them up to have the physical experience. So I definitely agree with that aspect 100%. Shy said, okay, so I've never had someone make love to my mind. Shy wrote, that was deep. I understand that part. Yeah, I'm with it on that part. I'm with it like 100%.
It's because the mind was completely engaged and they have made love to the mind. So the body is ready for the release. But if the mind is not in it, that's why you see in that industry of people into that stuff, watching other people do that. That's why this notion of Minuteman has been made to be a bad thing. Because if you have no connection to this person, if you have no love with this person, if you have not made love to each other's mind, a minute of that act is going to do nothing for you. But if you are in love with this person, that minute could feel like a lifetime. That minute could feel like a piece of eternity, because that minute may be all you have right before bed, right before work, right before whatever. But if you are in love with that person, that minute is one of the most fulfilling minutes you've ever had in your life. But if you are doing this,
and I think this is another reason why it's so good to hear, you got to watch the full videos of people, because I'm sure a lot of people would have watched this video and stopped in the beginning, like, nah, he's a clown. Like not to say Tafari, I think will listen to whatever. He's not gonna, I think, I'm not trying to single out Tafari, but I think a lot of us, when we don't necessarily hear what we want to hear, we'll immediately assume that the rest of whatever the person is saying, that we're not going to take heed to it.
Casually, and you doing this with somebody you don't love, that minute is miserable. That minute was a waste of time. Are you kidding me? That's all? That's it? That 3 minutes, that 5 minutes, that 10 minutes. Studies show that a woman on average takes 13 to 40 minutes to have a release. On average. How many men going 13 to 40 minutes? That's not realistic. That also shows you that the act itself is not about a release. That the release is not about, the act is not about the release, because the reproduction has happened far before the release. What we need to reproduce and create human life happens far before a woman's release, unless she's completely in love and completely stimulated mentally. Her release will come a lot earlier. And this is what people don't understand about sex. And this is why we have become slaves to sex. And this is why we live in a perverted society that is becoming incapable of real relationship and healthy relationship and long-lasting relationship, because we are giving power to something that wasn't intended to have this type of power.
Yo, it's funny, and I hate to cut him off, but I was thinking about, how when you're young and you're in that like first relationship or your first, couple whatever it may be, when you're really into somebody for the first time, I think that as we get older, it's almost like, because we actually, it's almost like, how this is going to be it's not going to be a long tangent, but it's going to be a tangent. We always talk about young kids and having a conversation with a young kid. I've said it before, where it's sometimes a lot easier to talk about life with a young kid who hasn't been as indoctrinated and brainwashed as a lot of the older adults. It's easier to have that conversation. I think that this concept may also apply to when you're younger and in a relationship. It's almost as if life, the way society is, it almost numbs the love down as far as how it relates to our mind. When you're in school and we're young, think about it. Like, think about when you're into that girl or you're into that guy, where they could just be walking down the hall and you give a little smile and you'll be all geeked. You know what I'm saying? Like that type of thing. It's more of the mental connection. It's not just the actual physical connection. And I'm just kind of processing this in real time as I'm watching this. Even though I've watched it before, I'm watching it again. I'm still getting new things. And it's like, as we get older and older, we become numb and numb and numb to now where we're trying to get back to that initial love that we experienced when we remember how they say, like, young love. Oh, that's not real. You don't know it. In all actuality, the emotional aspect, it is. But why we say that it's not real love is because we don't understand the commitment, the duty and responsibility aspect that comes with it. So as we get older, we focus on more the duties, the roles and responsibilities, what I need to deliver, what I need to bring to the table, all these other things, to where now we're moving away from that. And what do we always talk about? Finding that balance. So finding that balance being the key thing, to where we got to kind of go back in time to have that, where you can write a note and feel good about somebody, or you just see somebody. You just see somebody. You know what I mean? Like, I can remember times where I was at prep school. I used to go home every weekend. Every weekend, we had school on Saturdays. My mom, my dad would bring me home on Saturday just because I wanted to get home, and then come back right on Sunday, all the way down to Central Jersey. Well, not Central, Lawrenceville. It wasn't that much of a ride, but there's a lot for my mom and my dad to be bringing me down. And then to come back on a Sunday, they start their Sunday off late, but just because that way I could be home and whatever. But then halfway through the year, you meet somebody and you like, oh, now I actually want to stay here. This school is fun. You know what I mean? It's a different connection that obviously impacts other areas of our lives. So I hope I'm connecting the dots there, may or may not, but we'll listen to the last 15 seconds of this.
Over our minds and over our lives and our marriages.
All right, hold on. All right, so Tafari Rose. So should I start? Oh my God, bro. Come on, big bro. Come on, big bro. Let's keep it a little. Come on, big bro. Tafari Rose, you could single me out. I think he's butt juice. It shows he lost his virginity to his wife. But big bro, this is where I got to challenge you, because we got to be able to take away things from everybody. We got to be able to take away things from everybody, because I would argue that because you're being emotional right now. That's what I would argue. Now, I know you may not see it that way, but because you dislike him, you're missing out on the good stuff that you can take away from him. If there's a stew, or if there's food, if there's a buffet and there's one thing and there's meat on the buffet and I'm not eating meat at this point in time, I'm still going to eat the vegetables. I'm not going to say, yo, it's all bad. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's not the best example, but I just feel like there's a lot of positives to take away from what he was saying. To be totally honest, think about it. Most of the video, I would say most of the points that he agreed on, there's just one or two that I just kind of disagreed on. And I have to be careful to not speak so loudly about the things that I disagree on, to the point where we're not hearing the valuable information that he did get. So I don't know, but to each their own. Yeah, but the food smell like, yo, Tafari is crazy, bro. Tafari is crazy, bro. Tafari's not crazy. He's wild. I don't like calling people crazy. Tafari's not crazy. He's wild. But yeah, so it's 10 o'clock. We're 10 o'clock on the dot. Maybe we'll continue a little bit of that convo on Monday. And then Tafari wrote, I'm with him, the mind thing, though. See, Tafari, like I told y'all, big bro, he's wild, but big bro I don't ever think that Tafari's a dummy or he's not going to peep game. I'm telling you, Tafari is one of the people that is receptive to information, maybe more than most, I would say. I'm not even going to say maybe more than most, definitely more than most. You may have to argue your point, as you should when we're having a conversation, but Tafari's always going to process and be able to take the meat and leave the bones, right? So it is what it is. But for these 30 seconds, we're going to go a different route. We're going to go back to the beginning of the conversation that we were having for 30 seconds. 30 seconds, I want us to think about how over the weekend we're going to do one thing that's going to make somebody in our family, preferably our parents, feel special. Maybe that is stopping by and seeing them. Maybe it's just giving them a call. Maybe it's like, yo, let's jump on a FaceTime for a little bit, check on how you guys are doing. Even if you can't make a dinner with them, maybe saying like, let's get on FaceTime for dinner, whatever it may be, let's have a drink on FaceTime, whatever it may be. Hopefully it can be in person. If not, but just 30 seconds to just think about how we can do something special for somebody in our family. But I'm going to do mine. I'm going to think about my parents, but y'all, hopefully we can do that as well. I just think that relationship is so important. And a lot of times we'll take it for granted, and it's not on us, but it's a two-way thing. So it's the parents as well as the kids, because a lot of times the parents may not necessarily, maybe they feel like, oh, we've been, giving them the game for so long. They don't like to hear our, opinions on certain stuff, but our parents have been through it. Let's talk to them about certain things. We may not want to talk to them about that last video, but maybe you do feel comfortable. I don't know, but just talking about life in general, I feel like, I'm not going to say I feel like our parents have so much game to give. Matter of fact, the people who should be on YouTube just as much or maybe the most and be these quote unquote influencers are people 60 and up. 60 and up. And this is why I'm so excited, for maybe selfishly just so excited, because that's exactly what I'm going to do with my dad and his friends. He reached out to my godmother about it, but he definitely has on the fella side a strong list that I'm excited to sit down. We're going to have a couple different series. I think I told y'all before, dinner with dad, where I'm just able to sit down with them and just ask them certain questions. They're able to share different stories, whatever, just to kind of give certain game and us to have that experience. And eventually, hopefully we can do it in person. Not even hopefully, eventually we'll do it in person to where we can invite, different people. And that's going to kind of lead to, or simultaneously, work with this Sunday dinner concept. I don't know what we're going to call it, the gentleman's dinner, a gentleman's brunch, Sunday brunch, not dinner, brunch, or whatever we may end up calling it. But we definitely need to, I know I struggle with getting together with a lot of my friends and family that are very close to me. But, I'll be totally honest. A lot of times when I'm working, like when I get a free time, I don't really want to be around anybody, or if I do, it's not necessarily, whatever. All right, so 30 seconds. Let me get focused, Dak. Focus. 30 seconds, something that we're going to do for our family, maybe our parents, just to make the weekend special. All right, let's go. 30 seconds. Let's go. All right. Yo, appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Y'all know it's real. I'm telling y'all, what's so dope about it is I either have real life connections with every single person that's on here. I don't care about who's not on here. I'm talking about the people that are on here. I have deep connections, love for everybody on here, for real. And if I don't have it directly through you, like a Sharon, then it's through my brother, Tafari. So it's still there. And I just love this space that we have. I'm very appreciative of it. I'm very appreciative of you all. And yeah, make sure you like before you leave. Make sure that you like. It's going to help for the algorithm. And maybe if you record the video, you think that this video, the show today, could help somebody else, send it to them. Send it to them. Post it on your story. Post it on whatever platform you're on. And let more people have the conversation, because the more people, the better. But y'all know what we do. We're going to keep the train moving regardless of who's rocking on it. So as long as we on it, we good. Y'all know what it is. Strength and honor, onward and upward. Let's elevate on purpose, both from an intentional standpoint as well as doing what we're destined to do and providing our community what they need. All right, what we all need. And we're going to get to that big bag. Whatever that bag looks like, we're going to get to it, and always move with integrity, of course. All right. So with that, y'all have a great weekend, and I'll see y'all on Monday. I'll send you the link, shot. I think I could send you the link. Tafari calling back. Nah, we're gonna assume Queez just working. We're gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. Assume Queez just working. Trust me, Queez a worker. Queez a grinder. But yeah, I'll see y'all soon. All right. Appreciate y'all. Let me end this. Ew.